Alright, this video I call Signs of Life because um, I'm showing something that many believe is dead, but nope, there's still some life in it, and that is of course the CRJ that I'm making with Javier Roland. Um, and yeah, so it's coming along at a glacial pace. Everything's going very, very slowly because I've been doing so much work on the G1000 this year. But we have not given up on it. We have not abandoned the project. Progress is slow, but existent. And I'm just going to show you a little bit that I did recently to the flight controls. So of course we have this this little screen here. Oh, by the way, I took some time to get everything up to X-Plane 11 standards. So this is now a proper X-Plane 11 window with the same semantics. So left top is close click and right top is undock, and then you get a native OS window that you can put somewhere and put on your external screen or monitor or whatever device you use. And so the flight control window, of course, if I let me zoom back a little bit so you can see both yokes. So you can see the yokes, of course, when I do this. I get the aileron and the spoileron, and with that, of course, I get the elevator. And the reason it is doing that on the ground is I just gave ourselves a pretty good wind, so we have a 50 knot wind on the nose right now, so that I can test things without actually flying. So just that it gives me the correct forces. So as you can see, yep, the rotors are indeed exerting the forces on the plane. We can see that in the external view. I've turned on the vector view, so you can see right here under the aileron the force vector of the air going over it. Same thing here on the back of the plane, on the back of the tail plane, with the elevator. You can see the green force vectors of what it does. All pretty easy, pretty obvious. The cool thing that I did is I got the torque tubes to work correctly, and the torque tube connection between the left and the right flight controls are, of course, those big red handles here on the pedestal, and they do pretty much exactly what you would expect. In case one elevator jams, you can just pull this handle out, disconnect the torque tube, and then you have them separated. So in this case, the joystick is only working on the captain's yoke. The other one is disconnected. Note that the rolls are still connected. So the ailerons are still connected, but the pitch is no longer connected. And of course, you would use this in case one side of them jams, and you can still fly with the other side. And as you can see in the flight controls, only one side of the elevator is working now. And if we go in the outside view, we can see that not only is it animated like this, but looking at the force vectors above and below the horizontal stabilizer, you see that it's not only animated correctly, also the physics of only having one elevator actually works in X-Plane. So pretty cool. I think that's a thing you can probably only do in X-Plane. So, and of course we can do the same, like the torque tube disconnect with the roll as well. If I pull this out, I get a master caution. It made a bing sound that you probably didn't hear because I don't have Soundflower installed. And I get a master caution. It tells me spoilerons roll, and two yellow lights have come up here. So of course the master caution blinks. Let me quit the master caution, and we have a yellow light up here that we didn't have before I pulled on this thing, and it says roll cell. And the idea is you now press the button on the side that you think is still working to connect this one to the spoileron. So right now, if I'm using the ailerons on one side, so as they are disconnected, of course, only on the captain side it works. And as you see on the other side, this is stationary. And if I now go into roll select, and I say, okay, I believe the captain side is working, the master caution goes away. This one turns green on the captain side. It says pilot roll. On the other side, the yellow light is off because I haven't pushed that. And now, of course, you can see it is supposed to only do one. That's wrong. Okay, I just changed that, but this is when you're showing live software as it's being developed. Okay, so the yoke is correct. Only the left yoke is working, but actually it should only do the left aileron right now. Let's see. It's not doing that. Well, you can at least with the force vectors see that the left aileron is working, but of course the right aileron should not be working in this case. Okay, let me reset this. Oh, by the way, this is something you cannot do in the real plane. I'm just pushing the red things back in, the red handles back in, and reconnect the torque tubes, which is something that in the real plane only maintenance could do. So once you pull it out, it's disconnected. You're never going to get it back together, and to get things working like this again, you have to call maintenance and reconnect this. Yeah, so the torque tube disconnect is clearly working for the elevator, as you can see on the screen. And I had it working yesterday for the aileron as well, and then of course we changed something. And so pling, here we go. Let's select the green button on the other side. It says co-pilot roll now. And see, it works on the co-pilot side, not on the captain's side. Yeah, I screwed that up. So what you can see right now is I've selected the co-pilot aileron to be working. So you can see the pitch is connected because I didn't pull out the handle here, but I pulled the aileron handle. So only one aileron is connected now. And by pushing the green button here, saying that I want co-pilot roll, the co-pilot aileron now also acts on the spoileron. So if we look at this on the outside view, you can see that on the right side, the aileron is working as expected, and you can see with the force vectors of X-plane, obviously with the green arrows coming out, that the physics are correct. And if we now look on the left wing, you can see that the aileron is not working, but the spoileron is working. And the spoileron is working because I did the roll selection. So yeah, this is how you disconnect the aileron axis. So right now we have well, both elevators working and only one aileron working. And this thing is of course distinctly odd to fly if it has only one aileron. But thanks to X-plane, we can just use the control surfaces exactly like we animate them, and X-plane will give us the right physics to it. So this is I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, so right now having pulled those and then selected co-pilot roll, so this is kind of the worst situation you could be in. So you have apparently one jammed elevator and one jammed aileron, and you can fly the pitch on one side and the roll on the other side. So I guess this would be like the worst possible combination, where the captain can act on the elevator and the co-pilot can act on the aileron. Yeah, but as you can see, some things are working, some things are not working. So it's pretty much work in progress, but at least we have the X-Plane 11 stuff working now, all the the separate Windows stuff and such. So yeah, it's not dead. It's just coming along slowly. That's all there. That's all there is to it. All right, so much for CRJ news from the dead, or the undead in this case.